Alright, so hopefully a quick video today. I'm just going to talk about some of the racing that's happening around the world this weekend. Pretty much just Meydan and then Sydney and Melbourne on Saturday. So I just thought I'd get on and have a talk about some of the horses and, who I think might win some of these races. So we'll start off Meydan on Friday night for England, Saturday morning for Aussie battlers. The UAE Oaks is the first of a few group races and listed races on the card. So it's a decent little card at Meydan. I noticed with them, they normally have a week of good racing, then a week of shit racing, and so on. So yeah, in the UAE Oaks, this is a good race. Good sort of lead up for like the UAE Derby. So these are really the best dirt. The dirt fillies in Dubai, if you like. So I'm going to go with Tjareed here. Got a better jockey this time in Sylvester de Souza. Last start was ridden by Gonsalves, which is his last name. I assume he's like the stable jockey for that trainer. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think she's the main chance here. Labwa, she won the lead up race to this, which is over a mile. But I just thought, I think like it kind of found her out a little bit. Like she looked beat going into the straight. I mean, she battled on to win, but I thought she looked beat until she came back into it. So I'm going to go with Tjareed here. Some of these other horses might improve, I mean, with Connor Beasley on board's always going to be a chance. And then I remember Auntie Fair was a hot favourite on debut, so, she might have just needed a few races to gather a bit of momentum. But I think Tjareed is the one to be on in the UAE Oaks. All right, I'll move on to the, I think it's the Group 2. Yeah, so this season in Dubai, the Group 2s for fillies and mares have been just absolutely dog shit races. So the Cape Verde Stakes, which was about a month ago, was won by this Dubai Beach, which was a handicapper in the UK beforehand. And it was basically an identical field to this in the Cape Verde Stakes, but this time around it's a bit further, obviously. And we got Fairy Glen, trained by Simon and Ed Crisford, who's more of a stayer. Does its best work over a mile and a half. And then I think Charlie Appleby woke up to the fact that there's not very many good Group 2 level fillies and mares in Meydan at the moment. So he's running Blue Nazaire, who's had one start. And I hope it wins by like 7 lengths. That'd be so good. But yeah, no betting here. It's just a really average race. I hope Blue Nazaire just shits up. Alright, we'll move on to the second last race. The Dubai Road to the Kentucky Derby. Over 1,900 metres. I'm not going to go into this too much because it's a really difficult betting race. A lot of unknowns with these horses, but Saloom was a mightily impressive winner on debut last start. I'm not really like a sectionals guy, but apparently this horse like ran a crazy time or ran crazy sectionals. So, he's probably legit. He'll probably win here, I'd say. Bupat Seamer's got so many runners here, and Tiger has picked him, who's only had one start. So that's all you really need to know. Interestingly, David Minussier's got Night of Glory here. I believe he's by Nick's Go. So, he's bred to run on the dirt. So yeah, hopefully he runs well for a UK-based stable. That's about it for that race. I think Saloon will probably be too good, but no bet for me. All right, I'll move on to the last race, the staying race. I believe it's over 2,800 metres, Group 3. Yeah, just kind of an average race again. I mean, you've got By the Book here, who I think is probably, the classiest horse. Ran third over 2,000 metres last start. And they really took their time with this horse, like he hasn't had very many starts. He's a 5-year-old now. So I think this is the year that, if he's going to be something, he's got to have to win these races. So yeah, I think, he's going from 2,000 metres to 2,800 metres here, which is a bit of a jump, but, I think, Charlie Appleby probably knows whether this horse can stay or not. And Buick just needs to get him to relax, essentially. So, yeah, I think he's a big chance here. So is Sunway as well. I mean, it was a brilliant ride by Sylvester de Souza last start, just to like race away with the best stayer in the field. You know, he really pulled their pants down in that race. So yeah, I think Sunway and By the Book are the best horses here. Obviously, Al Naya has some really good form over some longer trips, but you know, he's first up. I think there's some fitter, better horses for this race than he is. So that's about it for Meydan. It's a decent card. We'll move on to Caulfield now. This is a really good card. I mean, there's three Group 1s, so you can't really complain. I'll just talk about the races I find interesting. So the Angus Armanasco Stakes, the Group 2, 1400 metres. She's Alibi looked amazing at the end of last year, winning the Group 2 Sandown Guineas. My only issue here is that obviously she's first up. She's got Zach Spain on board, who is riding quite well at the moment, but you know, it's not her usual jockey. I think $1.65 is probably short enough. This isn't really a betting race for me. It's just a watch to see if She's Alibi wins. Although Salty Pearl is going quite well. She hasn't really run a bad race. But yeah, I'll just watch this. Interestingly, Chateau Easy is by Frankel. Obviously born in the UK. So she might be an improver. But yeah, we'll move on to the next one. The Mannerism Stakes. 1400 metres, I believe. Yeah, so Rhoda Arataki is the favourite, who, you know, she's a 7-year-old, so she's getting on a little bit, but she seems to do really well in these Group 3s, Group 2s, sprinting distances for fillies and mares, so, you know, she'll be right thereabouts. Paradise City was a Group 3 winner last start, and some of these others go okay. Like Bossy Bonita, she ran quite well in that Group 3 weeks ago at Caulfield. But the horse I really like here is Damask Rose. You know, she's got Group 1 form from last year. You know, she ran second first up. You know, I think she's going quite well, and I think she should arguably be the favourite. I think she's the classier horse between her and Rhoda Arataki. So, yeah, I think she might end up favourite here. And I'll probably back Damask Rose. I think she might be a good bet for the Mannerism Stakes. Alright, so race 7. The Futurity Stakes, Group 1, 1400 metres. This is where some of the big guns return, although, to be fair, there's not that many big guns here. I mean, Treasurethe Moment should be nailed on to win this. She's had 2 trials, won her last trial, and she's just such a classy animal, you know, like, she was undefeated for a long time. She had that colic issue, which might be the reason that she mightn't have ran to the best of her abilities last prep. So, you know, I think if she's had enough time to recover, she should win this easily. You know, and she goes well first up and at Caulfield. There's a few other interesting horses returning here, like Pericles, who I think is a massive improver. I always thought he was a really good horse, and that like going into that King Charles last prep, like he loomed into the race like he was going to win. So, you know, he's a great horse. This will be a bit short for Buckaroo, I'd imagine. V8's going alright upon his return. Who else is there? Watch Me Rock is quite a good WA horse, although I think this will be too hard for him, I'd imagine. But yeah, I think Treasurethe Moment should just win this. You know, she's one of the best horses in Australia, for fuck's sake. So yeah, the Blue Diamond Stakes, it's a 2-year-old race, so I don't look into 2-year-old races that much. But if I'm probably gonna have a bet on Big Sky and Guest House, just like small bets to win on the race. Essentially, like, you know, there's some horses that might jump out of the ground here. I was quite happy with I Am Aria. I think she's a massive price. It's just that I think in the last 20 years, like maybe, or the last 10 years at least, I think like 3 fillies have won the Blue Diamond. Like, obviously the fillies have less of a record against the Colts and Geldings, but I don't know. I'm more confident in backing a Colt in this race, and I think Big Sky and Guest House they're drawn to run well. So yeah, I'll only focus on those two. I think here. I wish I had more to say about this race because it's the main race of the entire weekend, but it's just 2-year-olds are just hard to grasp sometimes. So we'll move on to race 9, the Oakley Plate. It's a handicap, and I think handicaps are a rort, so I'm not going to talk about it. Um, go to Rosehill instead. Um, yeah, I'm not a big handicap guy. They're basically a scam. But yeah. So the Silver Slipper Stakes. These are horses that are on the path to the Golden Slipper. Yeah, it's just once again 2-year-olds are a little bit tricky because they haven't run much, and the room for improvement for them is just it's just so much higher than you get with 3-year-olds, like 4-year-olds who haven't run much. So yeah, it's just a bit tricky. I'm just gonna keep it simple here. I'm gonna be having a bet on Confederation and Hidrix, just like to win on the race essentially. When I say keep it simple, I mean Waller, Zach Lloyd, J-Mac. And I find Hidrix interesting as well. Not because of the horse, actually. He's part owned by a guy called Ash Belcastro, who he owns like a UFC clothing brand. I think he like manages a few fighters. Me personally, I'm a big UFC guy, so I found out that he was involved in this horse. So I was like, oh, that's cool that he's getting involved. I don't know if he's owned horses before, but I know he's got a chunk of this horse. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye out on Hidrix in the years to come. And obviously Confederation, owned by Coolmore, so it's got to be a good horse. Who's he by? Oh, he's a Wooden Basset. Interesting. Alright, so I'll move on. Nah, handicap. Not talking about that. Hobartville Stakes. 1,400 metres. Ninja returns here, who, I'm going to be honest, he actually did look like a world beater. Even when he lost that last race at the Gold Coast, he was literally fucking 4 wide, like trucking the whole way along. Like, he did look like a world beater, and I wouldn't be surprised if he fucking shut up here. But once again, there's some good horses here. You got Autumn Boy, who is a Group 1 winner. Same with Attica, although these horses have won over a mile and 2,000 metres. Woden's a bit of an enigma. Shangri-La Boy, he goes pretty well, but once again, he might need a bit further, might need 2,000 metres. And then Napoleonic, this is the one I'm going to have a bet on. He's just, really, he's just a consistent horse. I actually think 1,200, I think 1,200 metres is more his go, but, they're getting him up to 1,400 metres. I'd imagine they're targeting the Randwick Guineas with him. And yeah, he's just a trustworthy horse. I think he's a good bet. And Ninja, this might be a bit rogue, but I know he looked amazing last start and the start prior, but he's running in the Gold Coast against a lot of stragglers in my opinion. So yeah, I'd rather back a Sydney, a horse with solid Sydney form. And to be fair, Napoleonic did that last start, by Tempted. So I think that's it. Yeah, and I just want to point out as well that Lazura is I think she's miles better than these in the Millie Fox Stakes. She's day and night better than a lot of these horses. So yeah, that's about it. That's all I wanted to talk about. Just some interesting races this weekend, especially the Futurity and the Blue Diamond, the Group 1s, obviously. So yeah, if you like these sort of just previews, I actually wasn't going to make a video, but I kind of felt like I had to. So yeah, if you like this sort of thing, just like and subscribe, follow me on Twitter. That sort of thing does go a long way when you're starting off doing this type of thing. So yeah, please do any of those. And I'll see you later.